Hello and welcome to another edition of Discover Mercer County Business. I'm your host, Rod Wilt, and I'm the Executive Director of Penn-Northwest Development Corporation, and we are Mercer County, Pennsylvania's certified economic development organization. Our motto is, make it in Mercer County, and our role is to create low-cost financing solutions for recruiting, retaining, and growing jobs and business opportunities in every corner of Mercer County. The sole purpose of this program is to showcase people and organizations that are making things happen here. We interview them to find out why they have chosen Mercer County, Pennsylvania as a great place to live, learn, work, and play. We're producing this show in conjunction with Thiel College students, faculty, and staff, and we're coming to you from the state-of-the-art TV and radio studios in the James Pettis Communications Center on Thiel's campus in Greenville. If you would like to connect with our Improvement Movement team to see how you can make it in Mercer County, please visit our website at penn-northwest.com or give us a call at 724-662-3705. You can also find us on YouTube by searching Penn Northwest Development Corp. Or connect with us on LinkedIn and other social media platforms. We hope you enjoy this edition of Discover Mercer County Business, and I'm so excited today to have with us Kaylee Bender from American Hospitality Group, Riley Atterholt from JCL Energy, JCL Development. Thank you both for joining me today. The topic of our conversation is really about young professionals and the opportunities that exist here in Mercer County. But then you've also volunteered over the last year to serve with us at Penn Northwest to help our board and our governing committees kind of get a little younger, bring a different perspective to what we do at Penn Northwest. We're a 35-year-old organization, and we just feel like we need to get a little more hip, I guess, is the way. So is the way I would say that. But Kaylee, welcome. I think people are interested in how you found your way to Mercer County and with the American Hospitality Group and the big footprint you folks have down around the outlets in Grove City.
Yeah, I'm actually born and raised in Pittsburgh, South Hills, so really close to downtown. And I was always a city girl growing up, and I went to a very large high school, and always thought that was the atmosphere I wanted. And then I went to Slip Rock University, and fell in love with the small town and like the smaller school.
Yeah.
And that led me to getting an internship in the area. I interned with the Bantam Jeep Festival, and that led me to my job I have now because of the networking connections.
So was your field of study and interest at Slippery Rock in the hospitality industry then?
It actually wasn't.
Okay.
I went to school for public relations, kind of like marketing. I wanted to work at a public relations firm and do PR for some like larger companies in Pittsburgh. But when I was in school, the teachers always told us that we had to go to the big cities to find our jobs.
Really, you were told that in a college setting?
Yeah, which is something we can touch on. But
yeah.
And then this American Hospitality Group kind of actually found me again, like I said, like through networking, and I'd never thought I would be in the hospitality industry, but here I am, and it's been a perfect fit. And I think that my connections and my networking, like those people knew that it was going to be a perfect fit for me. And I couldn't be happier. We have a house up here, and I have a husband and starting a family. So
oh, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the Homegrown initiative that you folks are working on with Jake Rickert from our office, who's kind of our workforce development guy. And we'll get into that in just a minute. But it's about targeting two groups of people. Folks like you that went to school out of the area, but then came to college here in Western PA and decided to stay. And then Riley, sitting next to you, is truly kind of like me. He's homegrown. He's from the area. And Riley, tell us your story.
Yeah, thanks for having me today, Rod. So I was actually born right here in Greenville, PA, at the hospital just down the street. Grew up in Sharon, went to West Middlesex High School, graduated from there. Kind of opposite side of the aisle from Kaylee. 87 kids in my high school class, very small. One red light town, and didn't realize probably at the time how much that really fit kind of my aura. And went to Penn State Shenango. I was fortunate to graduate a little bit early there. Done some local internships, got involved locally, spent kind of my first few years professionally at Beale Park, and then in the last few years I've been downtown Sharon with JCL, trying to grow the town and sell transformers. So that's been us.
Yeah, it's funny that, not funny, it's interesting, but it is funny your role. It's such an early age in your career to be on this dual track with JCL, where you have uh, a very specialized industry of selling transformers to a number of customers. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but also your founder and owner, Jim Landino, who we've had on this program in the past, very, very involved in regenerating a lot of economic development activities. We'll get to that on the ground. But Kaylee, when we reached out to you early on through your counterpart Stacy Glenn, who now sits on our board, you were very eager to get involved in this initiative to take our college students that are coming to school here, either in Mercer County or close by, and really start to introduce them to the economic opportunities that are here.
Yeah.
So, you're doing this completely as a volunteer. So what attracts you to this kind of work, kind of reaching out to other young people about the opportunities here?
Yeah, I want people to see the opportunities that I saw. So like going back to in college, when they told me that like the only careers were in the cities, and when I found that not to be true and that there was a lot of opportunities here, I wanted other people to know that and share that knowledge that I got. And especially when I'm looking for people to work alongside me, you go talk to people and they're like, oh, there's a hotel in Grove City, like
Yeah, there's like a lot of them.
like there's actually a lot happening, and people just light up and they're like, I had no idea. So it's just that desire to educate people is what I have the passion for. Yeah.
And this whole idea of this Future Leaders Homegrown initiative came out of going out and talking to companies about all of the opportunities that they had. And then in other times, talking with young people and hearing a completely different message. And you alluded to it, that there's just not that much here to do.
Yeah.
So these Discover Mercer County business programs are really about educating folks not only from outside the county, but even inside the county and our local students at the high school and college level just about what the opportunities are. We have very unique, and I want Riley to talk about this in both of the companies that he's involved with JCL, but we're just in this unique time where we have all these opportunities for people to have good paying jobs, and we have fewer people than ever looking for them.
Yeah.
So Riley, has your business been challenged by that dynamic a little bit?
Yeah, it's funny. We're kind of the tale of two stories. So on our real estate efforts downtown, we've felt the effects of COVID and commercial real estate, and have lost tenants, have gained tenants, and it's somewhat leveled itself out now. But it's been hard, and there's been, especially on the restaurant and commercial or retail side, of where there's just not as much eagerness to it. It's really hard to be a restaurant right now.
So are you finding people kind of gun shy to get into business in your retail locations, that you're missing that entrepreneurial?
I think it's hard to be a startup right now because you have to scale up so fast. So fortunately, we've been able to attract some people already with their cup in the stream, already doing business, ready for expansion, ready for another location. And so that's put some fuel on the fire. And now it's, I think, incentivizing some other startups to jump in and start getting their feet wet too.
So on the development side, though, you've also ventured into the housing space because you've seen a real opportunity there, I think.
Yeah, real opportunity, and really just a lack of anybody else willing to do it. And so right now we have somewhere in the ballpark of 15 to 20 apartments in Sharon, with probably another 15 to 20 coming online in the next 6 to 12 months. And we put a post out on Facebook the other day of a fully furnished apartment we have, and I bet you I got over 120 emails about it. It had 70 shares on Facebook, 100 comments, and so there's just so much demand for it right now. Waiting lists that the few available places that are in town are well over a year out, and so we feel a little bit of the burden to kind of again kickstart that and kind of be the ones that go first. So yeah.
Well, Kaylee, in bringing an organization like yours, the hospitality group, into Penn-Northwest, you're a substantial member of our organization, and I think that's a new path for us as an economic development agency to really look at the hospitality industry as a key player in the economic vitality of Mercer County. And I think you guys, when you look at how you've come through the pandemic. How has your life changed in the last year since things started to open up?
Well, I actually started my job 2 months before the pandemic started. So I got started January of 2020 and barely got to even know what normal was. And then all I knew was COVID until now. So the industry is drastically different now than it was 2 years ago because we went from nothing to people traveling again. And we've noticed that people are booking like last minute because they're so worried about things being canceled, and there's a lot of tentativeness, I guess, in the industry, and it makes our job harder. But we try to get that business as early as possible, instead of last minute.
So when we look at your hotels, I guess originally the draw was the outlet mall in Grove City, but there's a lot of other business that comes to you from the rest of Mercer County.
Yeah, our business actually before COVID was a lot of corporate business, corporate traveling and the large companies bringing people in. But recently it's actually more leisure. It's actually more the mall now, and we do our wine and brew tours through our hotel, and we have our weddings. And so it's the whole dynamic of what business we have has changed drastically. And I don't know if it'll go back to corporate traveling or not, but we hope.
So you have seen Mercer County become more of a destination for that leisure travel then,
Yes.
outside of the mall and including the mall.
Yes, and I think it just has to go with people, like with businesses marketing themselves to draw people in. Like there's the safari, people come from anywhere to go to the safari, go shopping, and just people just want to get out and get away too. So people will just go book a weekend like an hour away and come stay here. So
Riley and I are golfers. You do a lot of golf
yes,
packages
we do
too,
golf
right?
packages. Yeah, yeah, we do it all. So
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, Riley, on the commercial side, over on the transformer side, talk a little bit about JCL Energy. And you've just hired some other young professionals there because the business is on a real rapid incline. So how have things been for you guys in the last 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, so we officially launched of January 1, 2020, which turned out to be a really great time to start a business. So really, we
sarcastically
right,
speaking,
yeah,
of
a little
course.
sarcasm, but
Yeah.
so we kind of say, June 1st of 2020 was really our true start date, and so since then, we've been really fortunate to just be on a full growth trajectory. We have about 23 employees right now, a location in South Carolina that's just come online in the last couple weeks. Sales office in Conroe, Texas, and so we've kind of hit it at the right time. There's new emerging markets, and we have been able to really attract talent from people in the industry already, but also young talent who's just excited about the opportunity that exists and willing to learn, and that's really the biggest thing. It's just the willingness and eagerness to show up every day and go at something really hard. So
when I thought of transformers before I got to know a lot about your business, I think about those round things hanging off of the poles, but it's a lot more to it than that, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's one form. So those are pole mounts. And so we're more focused on the commercial and industrial side. Steel mills, oil and gas, selling to electrical contractors is really kind of the bread and butter. But now is cryptocurrency mining is a big market. Solar, renewable energy, EV charging. There's all this new tech showing up, and so it's a lot right now, but it's also a large opportunity for us to keep up with it.
But when people hear about those industries, they're thinking about Silicon Valley. They're thinking about Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They might be thinking about Nashville. Are they really thinking about Mercer County, Pennsylvania?
It's funny. We call Sharon, PA, the transformer capital of the world. Westinghouse was here for decades, and manufactured here. Had 10,000 employees at one point, and so we kind of look at like carrying that tradition onwards. And so that's maybe where some of that stuff originates from. The ideas, the conception, but now it's being peppered throughout the country. There's Tesla charging stations at Sheetz and Hermitage, and I'm sure there's some in Grove City.
At the hotel.
And so, all these things are showing up, and there's electric vehicles, people putting stuff in their house, and microgrids are showing up. And so, it's really just the opportunity of, where is there reasonably priced power, where are there, technically skilled workers. And so fortunately, Sharon fits a lot of, or Sharon and Mercer County as a whole fits a lot of that, where there's a good workforce, there's good talent, low cost of operation, efficiency of life. And kind of an overall perspective, the timing is ripe on a lot of areas, and real estate and energy have almost kind of blended together a little bit to, be a something that has synergy to it.
Yeah, and it's interesting that most people don't really realize vibrant hospitality industry, destination travel here in Mercer County, clean manufacturing, supporting clean energy, kind of the next frontier on the Bitcoin mining or the cryptocurrency mining. You just got back from a trade show, I guess, and built around that industry. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to show our audience a quick video. We're actually debuting this video on this program, and it's a video about our Homegrown initiative and some of the things we're trying to achieve, connecting our young people in Mercer County with economic opportunities here in the county. We hope you enjoy it, and we'll be right back.
Is your company looking to expand and grow? Then Mercer County, Pennsylvania is the right place for you. Whether your company is involved in manufacturing, technology, logistics, health, or business services, shale gas exploration, or retail, we can help. Mercer County, Pennsylvania offers low-cost land, valuable infrastructure, a quality labor force, and the right financial tools to make your corporate expansion an affordable reality. Mercer County is only a day's drive to major markets including Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, New York City, Chicago, and even southern Canada. Companies like GE Transportation, Joy Cone Company choose to make it in Mercer County, and Penn-Northwest wants to show you how your company can also make it in Mercer County too. Our team of experts will help you expand and save dollars. How does Penn-Northwest do it? How does Penn-Northwest save companies so much money? With a combination of low-interest loans, grants and credits, tax abatements, and even tax-free property. Here's the best part. Penn-Northwest will do most of the work for you. Just click on the button below and get the process started. Or you can first get an idea of how your organization can make it in Mercer County by using the savings estimator located at makeitinmercercounty.com. You'll see that expanding your business in Mercer County, Pennsylvania is the move that makes the most dollars and cents. Call Penn-Northwest Development Corporation at 724-662-3705 for more information.
We are back on Discover Mercer County Business. I'm your host, Rod Wild, and we're joined today by Kaylee Bender with the American Hospitality Group and Riley Atterholt with JCL Development and JCL Energy. Young people came through the schools here locally, although Kaylee is transplanted from Pittsburgh. Our Homegrown initiative, as I mentioned earlier, is really about looking primarily at our college students that are coming out of Grove City, Slippery Rock, Westminster, Teal, Penn State, Shenango, and really trying to introduce them to the opportunities that exist here. And you folks have been with us kind of from the start of that initiative. What drew you to that initiative, and what resonates with you about Penn-Northwest's Homegrown initiative? Riley, Riley was the actual, the first person that we recruited to this endeavor. So it was actually his idea that launched this. So.
Well, yeah, I think, the idea started and the willingness to jump in just came from seeing a gap. My story wasn't any one person who encouraged me to do this, just seeing a gap and seeing, friends or colleagues or just people who I meet once or twice and all of a sudden they're gone. And it's like, well, why is this happening, right? And just kind of a deeper dive into it. And so that's what kind of kickstarted it. And so since then, I think being able to get like-minded folks together and talk about, issues that exist, but opportunities that lie within Mercer County. And it's really, positive to just be around people who also want to see, initiatives come to life and retain and attract people here.
Would you say that in a lot of cases, those folks, and this is for both of you, that you've seen leave either from your high school, southwestern Pennsylvania, and then from your college up here in the Northwest, and for you, Riley, being a long-time resident here, it seems to me when I reflect on my friends that took off even in the 80s when the meltdown of the steel industry occurred, that the careers that they ended up finding themselves in, they really could have had that same career back here. Do you see that a lot? You're much more in touch with that maybe than I am.
Yeah, I do. And I think especially, in the COVID era and maybe even existing now where so much work has been remote, I think some of it has happened organically where people maybe move back, lower cost of living. But yeah, I think there are a lot of jobs that lie here, and you brought up the colleges and trying to keep students here, but I think it starts a chapter earlier at high schools, in administration and teachers and guidance counselors, really talking about, what is actually here, and listening to programs like this or being out and about in the community. And candidly, I don't think it's in place. I think there's administration and all those high turnover in administration. There's teachers who don't even live here; they live across the line in Ohio. And so I think there's a major disconnect, and it's not really being preached loud that we want you to stay here. There is opportunity here, and then really diving deep into what those are, and aligning. Not every kid needs to go to a 4-year college, or to trade school, or enter into the military, or start your own business. I mean, there's not one mold specific to kid, and I think we tend to try to put kids into that mold, and I think we're kind of failing at it, but getting better.
Well, thanks to you, we now have this initiative.
Right,
And we have some
exactly,
funding
yeah.
behind it. We have
Yeah.
sharp young people we've attracted like Kaylee to. But your friends from the South Hills of Pittsburgh, do they think you moved to, and I don't mean Mars like in the North Hills. I mean, do they think you actually moved to Mars when you came up here?
Like Timbuktu? Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they definitely were kind of skeptical of like what made me come out here and would I enjoy it since I grew up such a city girl. But what he said, he hit it right on the head with the education. It starts in high school with the teachers, administration, educating the students what there is to do in that area that you're in. So instead of saying, oh, you can make all this money in this area if you go to like a big city. And that's why I have the passion to be a part of this organization, because when in Slippery Rock, like I said, all the professors always said, here's this company, this company, this company, and they're ranked 1, 2, and 3 in the world or whatever, but they're in so and so city. Like you have to move to go to it, and not once do they ever mention anything local. And I think it becomes the disconnect that they're not from here, so they don't have that passion to or drive to like push the local jobs, if that makes sense. Yeah. They just kind of push like the big brand names that are wherever.
And this is a challenge we have ahead of us, really, is to do both, to work really with our career planning people that are on our college campuses, work with our high school students, but also work with our owners of our companies and the job providers to really start doing programs like this and being active on social media and connecting with us so we can connect them with this really firm handshake between that kid coming out of high school, coming out of the career center, coming out of a 2-year or 4-year college program, and saying, hey, your interest is X. Here's a company that's looking for X. And actually making that firm handshake, I think, is something that we can really step in and play a role in. But as we've been working our way through these series of programs, we've talked a lot about the work culture. So I'm interested to hear in the hospitality industry, there's a lot of grinding it out that people don't see behind the scenes. But how has the culture changed maybe during and coming out of COVID to make it fun for you because you don't have a job where you can work remote. You have to be on location pretty much.
So, I mean, I have enjoyed working for this company mainly because of their work-life balance, and it's become more prominent since COVID. Even though I am, in the office, 5 days a week or whatever, I still have that work-life balance and the flexibility to start my own family and everything.
And you can plug in once in a while when you have to not be on site.
Exactly.
And that's important.
Yes. And so I think I can do that because of my leaders, the ownership, but also I think the location and area of the company makes it so I can do that. So like in a big city, you might not be able to do that because you have a portfolio of like 1,000 clients. Here you have a smaller portfolio of clients, but you have that really strong relationship with every single client. And that's what I desire, is having less clients and having that strong relationship.
Kaylee, you hit on something there that I hadn't even thought to ask you, but maybe that's just unique to a county like Mercer that has small to mid-sized companies rather than mid-sized to large companies, that you can progress through the organization pretty quickly and get a lot of responsibility sooner rather than later and not get buried in an organizational chart somewhere.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I really strive for, is that relationship base, like working. So, you know, in a big city, like my clients, I could get lost in the shuffle, I guess, you know, like I'm just
Well
one
said.
other hotel, just one other salesperson. But up here, I have people that come back to me, even though if they're not traveling to our county, they're like, hey, you're really awesome. I want to work with you. Can you help me with my travel to Erie or whatever,
Oh,
you know?
interesting.
So like,
Yeah.
I really go for that relationship based, and I want people to like know me, and then also like know the area and what I have to offer.
And I think that's, and I was going to ask you at the end, and maybe if we have time, I will, what you like best about your relocation and you staying in Mercer County. But what I've heard when I've asked a lot of other people on these programs about that is just that hometown feel. No matter what corner of the county you're in, people are really proud of their community and make you feel at home, even if you
Yeah.
may not be from here. But Riley, back on the culture question, you know, you guys are a rapidly growing company. You've got a very, you know, I'm going to call him a fearless leader with a lot of personality, but you know, how do you create that culture to attract employees in a time right now where it's so hard to find people?
Yeah, fortunately, we've had the opposite of trying to attract people. We've had just our door getting kicked in with people wanting to come join our team, so which has been good. And so,
And what do you attribute that to? Do you think it's because of the business, or do you think it's just because there's a buzz about what you're doing on social media and in the community? I mean, how are you getting that message out that it is a cool place to come work?
yeah, and so I think, you know, one is you know, our leader Jim's personality is just his ability to attract and get somebody excited is unlike anybody else I've ever seen. So that's one, and I think two, yeah, there's this kind of buzz. It's something cool. There's this company growing, and so I think we've had a little bit of that. But you know, on the culture side, it's probably the single largest piece that matters to us when hiring. You know, we can train somebody in to do accounting or to do sales or whatever we need to be done. But if they don't fit the culture, then, you know, if there's no harmonious conduct, then you have nothing, right? You're going the opposite direction. So it's probably the single largest piece. And we joke, we were just talking about it this morning, if we need an HR department, we're really in trouble. So
a company your size,
Yeah.
no HR department.
no HR. Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
kind of roll with it, make
Yeah.
it happen.
It doesn't mean we don't have, you know, some problems here and there and small stuff, but we deal with it when things arise, right? It doesn't get to a point where, you know, we need a mediator or we need a HR department, and so we just deal with stuff as it comes up, and that's, I think, been some of it in a culture that, you know, people have leaned into. And the last piece is probably, whether this is right to say or not, is kind of this anti-corporate approach. You know, there's not, you know, set business hours. We really don't care. We don't care if you wear shorts or pants to work, right? Like, it just kind of, you know, this, you know, there's not all these rules and regulations to follow. There's, you know, not anybody micromanaging, and so that's kind of been our story too. And we kind of, you know, say it pretty loudly. Is, you know, we're anti-corporate, right?
You're kind of breaking the mold. And
Right.
again, those are things you might hear in a Silicon Valley or in Austin, Texas, or somewhere more metropolitan than Mercer County, but you guys are taking those best practices and putting them right to play, right in Sharon, Pennsylvania. You know, one of the things we've really tried to do as an organization is really lift up our organization and trend a little younger and kind of get with it from a social media standpoint. How big of a role has social media played in either getting your business out there, your message out there post-COVID, but maybe recruiting people to your organization? Both of your organizations tend to spend a little bit of time on social media and promoting. So Kaylee, do you?
Yeah, I'll hit more mainly like during COVID. Like our social media presence was more needed during COVID than any, because we had to make sure people knew that we were a safe place to travel if they were wanting to travel or when they were ready to travel. So pushing the, you know, cleaning protocols and all the safety procedures that we were doing, that was just a major thing that we had to make sure that we were getting across to people. And that was the biggest thing this past 2 years. I mean, now we're not hitting on that as much now.
But have you noticed your traveler and your guests kind of demanding a little bit more of that
Pe-
or you see folks have really gotten back to normal?
uh,
If you can say normal,
yeah.
I mean, gotten back to the way things used to be, I should say.
Yeah, it's a tough question, but people, I definitely have a higher standard, I guess, when they travel, with the cleaning protocols. I mean, obviously you want your room to be spotless, but people expect above and beyond now, especially just because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
But you're obviously doing it because from what I've heard and what you've alluded to, things are starting to ramp up again, which is great.
Yes, they are.
You know, Riley, what about you guys? I see I follow you, you follow us, but maybe some of our viewers don't. I mean, what's that social media presence done for JCL?
Yeah, I think personally, I'm not a big social media junkie, but we've realized the importance of staying present, and I think kind of telling the story, but really just kind of almost back to the cultures, sharing, our culture, so our customers can kind of have an open door to who we are and what we do, right? And so, our 3 words that we love are fast, yes, and easy, right? And so, we call ourselves the urgency addicts, and we have piles of equipment in stock, and so you can skip the line and don't wait and kind of get lost in the shuffle of long lead times and increasing, raw material costs. And so that's kind of been our story, and we really focus on those 3 words, and fast, yes, and easy. Fast, lead times, easy to do business with, and constantly saying yes are big things, right? Really simple, but just kind of what we really push out on social media and try to have fun with it and kind of keep it loose and do some short videos here and there. And
That's what I like. When we follow you guys, you really get to know the people. You almost get a behind the scenes look at what's going on there at JCL, and you make it a lot of fun. A lot of fun to follow. We really appreciate you being with us today. I wish we could keep this rolling forever. Unfortunately, my and our viewers' attention span is probably like a half an hour or so, but we really appreciate it. We wish you luck with the start of your new family, Kaylee. We're very excited for you. And Riley, it's good to connect with you as always. And we want to thank you, our viewers, for watching this edition of Discover Mercer County Business. And of course, a big thank you to our guests, Riley Atterholt and Kaylee Bender, for them and their companies making it in Mercer County. We enjoyed introducing you to our Homegrown initiative. We'll be putting out a lot more about that in the future. Again, we're producing this show in the state-of-the-art TV and radio studios in the James Pettis Communications Center here on Teal's campus in Greenville, PA. And we want to thank the students, faculty, and staff who helped us bring this show to life. And to our viewers, if you have an idea or a suggestion for a future edition of Discover Mercer County Business, please connect with our Improvement Movement team on our website at penn-northwest.com, or give us a call at 724-662-3705. And remember, you can also find out more about Penn-Northwest Development Corporation by searching for us on YouTube, connecting with us on LinkedIn, or any of our other social media platforms. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Discover Mercer County Business, and we'll see you again next time.